Hello, everyone. Jim Biringer here, NHLRumors.com. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below. We got a lot to dive into here. Busy Monday. Edmonton Oilers, Toronto Maple Leafs, a lot of chaos going on. Could top stars be leaving? We got new GM in town, new executive, senior executive, advisor to the GM, to the president in Toronto. A lot of things to unfold. What's going on in Tampa, Pittsburgh, a lot of things to dive into to the rumor mill. And we were going to start off with Edmonton, but we got to start off with what happened in Toronto on Monday. Now, look, there could have been an instant reaction video to what happened, and everybody could say about the same thing about the press conference and the optics, and it was a bad look for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So let's not sugarcoat it. Toronto Maple Leafs did not have a great day, and they didn't have a great day on Sunday either when they announced that John Chayka was going to be the new GM and Matt Sundin was going to come in to be a senior executive advisor as well. And it's good to have Matt Sundin back in Toronto, but the process of how it got there with Neil Glassberg and the firm and 27 candidates, as Keith Pelley said. Keith Pelley in between two pretty big individuals and John Chayka and Matt Sundin, not very good. And look, John Chayka's been out of the game for a while. We know what happened in Arizona with the suspension, the way he was testing players before the draft, the illegal testing and the drafting with the analytics and his reputation and the tampering that's gone on and maybe potential tampering in Toronto. And, Jonas Siegel and Frank Saravalli kind of called out the Toronto Maple Leafs for this. We know Steve Simmons has as well. Steve Simmons really broke this on Saturday when he said that John Chayka and Matt Sundin would there be a press conference Monday. And look, whether you want to agree with Steve Simmons or not, whether you want to think he's a great person or not, it doesn't matter. Different viewing of opinions, but he asked the hardball questions. Now, the way about going about it, I talked to 20 people. One person really likes to hire, nobody likes it. A lot of people are confused. Maybe not the best way to do it, but hey, that's his style. That's what he likes to do. So can't judge people, right? And they can't judge John Chayka, right? Because we always judge people on their past and what happens, and we don't move forward, right? Does he deserve a second chance? Yeah, I think we all deserve second chances. But has he learned from the mistakes? Has he moved on? He didn't really address the Arizona situation. He said there's some things that we need to talk about that people are going to be addressing, and my time in Arizona, what happened. But it was kind of like an ownership thing. Matt Sundin talked about the locker room, how he's been in the locker room, understands what the team needs to be built. Talked about some scouting in Europe. Talked about 2002 Eastern Conference Final, but they never expressed the vision, right? There was a lot of PR and fluff around it, but an interview process that had 27 candidates, that had Scott White involved, great Evan Gold was involved, Mike Gillis, names like that have been being reported, and you arrive at John Chayka and Matt Sundin because of connections with Ty Domi. Matt Sundin knows John Chayka through tournaments, through different business. Don't get me wrong, John Chayka is a successful business person with the Wendy's and Statleets and things like that. But the issue is he's been out of the game for 9 years. And Gino Reda brought that up. Are you concerned about it? Didn't seem like it. A lot of whispering, a lot of it just felt unprofessional. John Chayka didn't make eye contact. He was reading a speech. Matt Sundin, who has zero executive experience, looked like the guy that had executive experience. There's a lot of questions. Look, the biggest takeaway said there's going to be some roster changes, but they believe there's some talent there. They call Greg Berube a good coach, but they're going to talk to him later in the week. They need to sell this to Austin Matthews, and they know they have to, right? They called him the best goal scorer in the world. Matt Sundin called him one of the best goal scorers in the world. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done for this team. Chayka admitted it, the drafting, the developing, the players. There's still pieces. They have pieces, but they don't. How is this roster going to change? Because they don't really have the assets to make the roster look different. He said guys underachieved. Was it the right hire? Maybe. Did they want to go back to the ways of Kyle Dubas? Yeah. But they got to this point, and that's what the Maple Leafs did. This is who they're rolling with. But whose fault is it now if it doesn't work? Can't blame Brendan Shanahan. Sure, they're not going to blame Matt Sundin. Is it John Chayka going to be the fall guy? It's been on Keith Pelly. It's always been on Keith Pelly. He's running the Toronto Maple Leafs into the ground, whether people want to admit it or not. It's like Jim Rutherford in Vancouver ran the team into the ground. We're going to talk about Sam Bowman and the Edmonton Oilers. It's the same thing. Now, I'm supposed to not judge people and bring bias into this. This is my opinion, and this is what I see. But Keith Pelly has turned the Toronto Maple Leafs into the Dallas Cowboys of the National Hockey League. It's an entertainment. It's about headlines. It's about always being in the spotlight. Well, everybody's right. The Maple Leafs get clicks. Everybody wants to talk about like the Dallas Cowboys. But neither team has won. Neither the Maple Leafs have a longer losing streak than the Dallas Cowboys do. At least the Dallas Cowboys won a championship in the 1990s. Toronto Maple Leafs haven't. They haven't won since 1967. Sorry, fans. But does this make you feel more comfortable that Austin Matthews is going to stay? Does this make you feel more comfortable that William Nylander is going to stay? What is this team going to look like? What is their vision? Do they have the fifth overall pick? How are they going to make this roster look different to match the style of play? And we didn't even hear this division, matching the vision. What's the process? There's a lot of stuff that's left unanswered. It feels like they targeted John Chayka, but we're going to do all these interviews. We want a data-centric guy. No head of hockey operations. He's just the GM. But we were supposed to, I think Friedman was right. You don't get caught up in titles. Because everybody got caught up in titles. But what's his role? What's Sundin's role? Sundin's reporting to Chayka. Apparently Mike Gillis was really involved, but didn't want to work for Chayka. It's being run like I don't want to use the phrase Mickey Mouse organization because it's Maple Leafs. But if you were a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, you're probably not feeling too good about what happened on Monday. And maybe the hire is going to be great. You never know. Maybe John Chayka really learned some things, Maybe he's really been studying the data and the draft picks and everything and what the team really needs. Because let's be honest, since the days of Kyle Dubas when he fired some people before that, the Maple Leafs were able to draft players. The Nylanders, you found the Matthew Nyes, Joseph Walls, the Matthews. But they were able to hit in the next rounds, in the 2 through 7. As long as John Chayka just doesn't rely on analytics to win hockey games or rely on analytics to build the team, then they're going to be fine. What does Brendan Pridham think about this? It feels like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Keith Pelly wants to be Jerry Jones, and he's not because he doesn't know much about hockey. Tom Dundon in Carolina thinks he's Jerry Jones and isn't. But when you let the hockey people be hockey people and let the people you bring in be the people you bring in, there's going to be success like we see. They want to play to an identity. They want to play to a certain style. They want to have sustained success. Sounds all well and good now. But what are the Toronto Maple Leafs? Are they a playoff team? Can they bounce back? Are they going in a rebuild, retool? No one knows because no one knows what the vision is. There was a lot of rebutting of Chris Johnson and the Athletics report about Keith Pelly was using AI. Talk about how Ty Domi was involved. A lot of stuff was refuted. But the fact of the matter is there's still a cloud surrounding the hire of John Chayka when a guy was out for 9, 10 years. And no one knows what the process was outside of the firm. And no one knows how they got there. And why. John Chayka, because did he really do his due diligence on Chayka? Did Keith Pelly do that? Or was he told to do it? A lot of questions left unanswered, like Rowdy Piper. You think you may have the answers, but I changed the questions. That's what the Maple Leafs are doing. We know what the questions and we know what the answers are going to be in Edmonton. We know what the question is Connor McDavid staying? Is the window closed? Connor McDavid, after the loss in the first round of the Anaheim Ducks, called the team average. Leon Draisaitl backed it up, saying the team wasn't very good. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins said they have to be better. Stan Bowman, the GM, Chris Knobloch, the coach, agreed with that assessment. Everybody has to be better. There has to be better ownership. Connor McDavid also said he wants to win in Edmonton. But Leon Draisaitl had very interesting comments when he said, look, we all need to be better, but we need to win with the best player in the world on our team. And we know there's 2 years left on that he has a deal. And God knows what it is after that. He said the thing out loud, but Leon Draisaitl has been very open and honest this year about how he's felt about the Edmonton Oilers. If you think about it, he really has stated that he felt the team wasn't good. It hasn't played good defense. Coaching needs to be better. He needs to be better. All that. It's all well and good. The players have to buy into playing defense. Because, again, multiple reports are coming out now. Oh, they're going to go trade after Jordan Binnington. Last I checked, check in my notes, he has a no-trade clause. The Edmonton Oilers are on said no-trade clause. So he has to go over there. Plus, they have to clear more cap space that they don't have to get him. Yeah, they have $16 million in cap space, but guess what? They don't have anybody. The problem is the Edmonton Oilers aren't as deep as they were. They're not as good as they were. Again, you look at it. Draisaitl said it. They don't have Ryan McLeod. They don't have Warren Fogle. They don't have Cody Ceci. Vinny Desharnais. Corey Perry's not there. Vander Kane's not there. Victor Arvidsson's not there. The depth isn't there. Philip Broberg. Holloway. Skinner. Yeah, Jake Walman's there. But Darnell Nurse is a shell of himself. Mattias Ekholm is getting older. Evan Bouchard just got a new contract. The team doesn't have the cap space. They don't have the assets like the Toronto Maple Leafs do. Is it a 1-year window? Is it a 2-year window? The Edmonton Oilers have a big offseason coming. They need to get this right. And if they don't, Connor McDavid could walk to free agency or could ask for a trade. And maybe Leon Draisaitl asked for a trade. Did they move Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? Now you don't have a second-line center. There's a lot of issues in Edmonton. Now, is it fear-mongering? Is it a narrative about Connor McDavid wanting to leave? Maybe. We probably should take him at his word that he wants to stay. But maybe he doesn't. Sounds like the players know something. Chris Knobloch's job is okay for now, but everything's being evaluated. But why would you fire a guy when he's got a 3-year contract extension that didn't kick in yet? That wouldn't make any sense. And then you're in the same hamster wheel problem you've always been. Is it coaching? No. Is it goaltending? Maybe. Defense is a problem. When the Oilers want to play defense, they're one of the best defensive teams in the National Hockey League. It showed when they got to the Stanley Cup final in back-to-back years. What they did in the Western Conference final cannot be denied. When they played defense, it helped their goaltender and allowed the goaltender to play within himself. We've seen the goalie carousel: Mike Smith, Cam Talbot, Jack Campbell, Stu Skinner, Calvin Pickard, now Connor Ingram, Tristan Jarry. Stan Bowman's made poor moves. Jeff Jackson's allowed him to make those moves. Jeff Jackson didn't allow to keep Kenny Holland for whatever reason. You can go back June 30th. His contract expires. The draft, free agency is July 1. He runs free agency in 2024. Again, the window was small. If you knew you were moving off of Ken Holland, you probably should have done it sooner. No Broberg, no Holloway. The Oilers took steps backwards. It is concerning for both star players that this team isn't deep enough. So where do they go? It's on Stan Bowman to do it. But can he do it? The answer is no right now. He's got to figure out and be creative to make this team better. But the team has to buy into playing some defense. Or else it's going to be another organizational mess. Like it's been. Because if anybody realized anything entering the season, the Oilers were not a Stanley Cup final contender. They weren't a Stanley Cup contender. They weren't good enough. They haven't been good enough. But McDavid gave them cap space and flexibility over the next 2 years. Stan Bowman just frankly pissed it away. Traded draft picks and assets for Connor, Murphy. Moved out Brett Kulak because of cap constraints. Jason Dickinson, okay, great. You have to add on the D. You have to break up the defense. Free up money. Darnell Nurse is going to be a target. What happened to Mattias Ekholm? A lot of questions for the Edmonton Oilers moving forward. Like their questions in Tampa with that roster, Pierre LeBrun, reporting, hey, maybe they could move off of Kucherov. They moved off Stamkos. They moved off McDonough once, brought him back. They moved off Sergachev. They move off him. What about Vasilevsky? They don't have anything in the cupboard, right? They don't have draft picks coming. They don't have prospects coming. Julien Brisebois has been handing out draft picks left and right for some of these deals. What's the next wave? What's the next Nikita Kucherov? Tyler Johnson, Andre Palat, players like that, right? Who are the next wave in Tampa? They got beat by a hungrier, faster, younger team. Now they got to figure out what they have to do next. And here we go. They don't know what they're doing. And Julien Brisebois needs to figure this out real quick. And if he doesn't, then the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to be in the same issue. Again, Kucherov's due an extension. He's eligible July 1st. Could he leave? Potentially. We're going to see what happens in Tampa. Evgeni Malkin meeting with Kyle Dubas this week. He wants to stay. He wants to be there, but understands it's a business. He wants to keep playing in NHL. Could be with another team. Is it a 1 or 2 year deal in Pittsburgh? What's the edict from Kyle Dubas and ownership? The players want to keep him back. Brian Rust doesn't know life without him. Sidney Crosby would like him back. Letang, all those guys. But the roster in Pittsburgh is going to be different. Like, is Anthony Mantha coming back? Are they going to overpay to keep him? Connor Dewar, all those guys. Like, is Chris Letang coming back? What's their goalie situation like? This is a rebuilding team that should have been drafting Gavin McKenna and didn't. Almost said Connor McKenna, but no. However, this is a team that still needs to get younger, faster, overachieve this year. Jason Robertson says, as we've heard, it's a wait and see with the Dallas Stars. The belief is they're going to get a deal done this summer. It was on the Stars told Robertson to go do it again. He did. Jim Nill wants to keep him. He believes he can get the deal done. But we're going to see what guys like Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, are they coming back. Stars are going to be new looking next year. But the belief is they're going to keep Jason Robertson. And what will happen with one of the best 5-on-5 possession players on defense in Quinn Hughes? There's a belief he's going to get a 3-year deal. He could. Maybe he gets a little bit more. Bill Guerin's going to make sure he stays in Minnesota, especially if they have a successful run in the playoffs. They went all in to get him, and he's being rewarded. Again, Boston's got questions with Pavel Zacha. Teams are going to look to get younger. There's not a lot of big free agent crop. The way Buffalo's playing, Alex Tuch could stay there. It's going to be interesting to see as we move forward. But big news coming out of Toronto with John Chayka, Matt Sundin in town. What will happen in the future of the Edmonton Oilers? Is this the last stand for the Oilers with Draisaitl and McDavid? A lot of moving parts. NHLRumors.com. Keep it locked in. Again, please subscribe to our channel. Like this video. Comment below. Guys, take care and enjoy.